My name is Emil. I'm a digital strategist and I answer marketing questions. Today is episode number 57, and this is a question I get in many different variations as people are discovering new mediums. Now, the question is from Twitter, and it's what is the most underrated marketing channel? I love this question because we get to tackle subjectivity, we get to tackle content, and we get to tackle distribution with this one question. Now, in this video, I'm going to cover why I think all marketing channels are underrated, my lesson in marketing on Reddit specifically that'll really transpose to any medium that you want, and then an amazing marketing play that I just learned about on Venmo that I've never heard before. But before we jump into that, this. Every Sunday, I send out one email that recaps all the marketing questions I answered that week. If you want to stay up to date on best practices, strategies, and become an overall stronger marketer, I think you would really enjoy this recap. It would mean the world to me if you could subscribe to the newsletter and my YouTube channel. Now, back to the answer. As a strategist, I think this question and any of its variations, whether it's what is the most underrated platform, where can I market my brand where my competitors really aren't taking advantage of, what's the least crowded or the least friction-based platform to market on, they're all very subjective, and I mean extraordinarily subjective. As of recording this, which is maybe just an hour or two after this question was posted to Twitter, I'm already looking at the responses. So some of the responses that I'm seeing is Slack. They're saying that Slack is an underrated channel, and there's been monetized channels that you can run for your brand on Slack. You can reach out to niche communities on Slack, but they're saying, look, this is a super underrated spot. Quora, for me personally, I've answered a lot of questions on Quora. And I've benefited from the answers on Quora. So but they're saying this is an underrated, underplayed platform. Discord, which I've never marketed on Discord, but I have a lot of insight to it from campaigns I've studied that I've really enjoyed how they deployed Discord in their community building. Reddit, which I'm on quite often, and Venmo. This is really interesting. We'll call this one an outlier, and I'll talk about the amazing strategy I saw at the end of the video for this. But why would I say this is subjective? Well, all of those I've named outside of Venmo, they all have seven-figure earners. I know this for a fact. This isn't some conjecture or like it's gotta be. I've seen the campaigns, I've seen the earnings, and I've seen the attribution. They all have seven-figure earners. Really what happens is how many seven-figure earners do they have on it? For instance, Facebook and Google Shopping will have much more seven- and eight-figure earners than Discord will, but Discord has some really big earning marketing plays on it. The better way to say this is underrated for you, and I'll give you my personal example of this. So I run this series called Ask Emil, and Ask Emil is me answering marketing questions. I tell all of my clients, if you're going to do a marketing play that and want to build your content library, make sure this is something you'd be happy to invest in, whether you were doing paid advertising or not. The reason for this is that content is really what wins at the end of the day, right? We all know this. So the three-prong attack for me is I'm going to answer very specific questions, and these questions are going to be video content that I could share internally with the existing clients that I have, externally with potential clients during sales calls, and then around building my YouTube channel. So these are the three high marks that hit the mark whether or not I'm advertising or not. As I was putting together my distribution play, I have Facebook prospecting, YouTube prospecting, display prospecting, and Google search prospecting. The reason I have this in place, this is how I, in my mind, envisioned running the campaign. And I start everything off in a flow chart and work my way outside of that after I establish what the direction needs to be. And then I realized, look, I need to go where the questions are. And unfortunately, the core questions weren't that great. Twitter, you don't get as many good questions that you could search for. So Reddit became an amazing resource for me. When I started this project, I was like, okay, I'm going to answer questions on Reddit. So my very first question on Reddit was about Facebook ad creative, something I do all the time. It's like, beautiful. I recorded a 10-minute video and I posted it. I said, hey, this is just a month ago. By the way, I'm on episode 57. This is just 1 month ago, episode number 1. So if somebody tells you I don't have time to create content, I do this, manage all of my clients with just a small team, my wife and myself, and have 2 kids, 2 dogs, and they're all doing stuff. There's always time. You just got to find it. But in this case, 1 month ago, I created my very first video. And I was like, this is going to be a great distribution network for this content. I can't wait. And 10-minute video, posted this in response. I got my broken off. They downvoted me. They were not happy with my response. People called me a spammer. And the problem was I wasn't native. It looks like I'm spammy, even though I'm not asking for anything. I'm not telling you to subscribe. I'm not telling you to do anything. I'm literally just answering the question. The problem was on Reddit, I wasn't native. And so I could have avoided all this just by Facebook or YouTube advertising, which I make a lot of money on when I do advertise there. So I was like, why would I go through this hassle? But then I was like, it's a learning lesson. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me put that. It's a learning moment. This lesson that I'm learning here is for my own brand. I have got the time, I've got the energy to do for a living. How do I turn this around? So I went back and I took all the people who said I was a spammer. I looked at their karma score on Reddit. I looked at how they respond and what they comment on. And I realized some of the responses are even smaller than this, but there's no outbound links. So there is an imbalance. I'm giving an outbound link off of Reddit. And because I'm doing so, that creates a friction. So over the next 10 to 15 videos, I learned how to better respond to this, where it turned, instead of downvotes, to upvotes, awards, and I snagged 3 clients that I've been helping since then without paying a dollar here. This is just distribution for right now. Here's the difference. This is my first post. This is the last post I made on Reddit. So when I'm answering these questions, not only am I providing these amazing videos, but I'm also being extraordinarily native on my distribution. And this is where, when you were talking about undervalued channels, they're only undervalued if you don't live on them and if you don't know how the communities interact. So my question for Quora, or if I wanted to run a campaign on Quora, it would be very similar play to Reddit, but there'd be some variations. For Slack, it would be a much different story. And for Discord, different than Slack. It wouldn't be the same one-to-one that you see for Reddit and Quora. So here are the goals. First goal is content first. Before you even need to worry about which is an underrated platform, make amazing content. Then create different variations of that content for your distribution, because that's the second component. And the way you're creating that content, it better be native, because you always got to be native. So as I tell my clients, and here's a great living example of that: content first, distribution second, native always. And that is the secret to making every platform extraordinarily valuable. When people create YouTube ads, most of them suck because they don't understand the YouTube community. My YouTube ads get 60 to 70% view rates as an ad. That because I understand YouTube so intrinsically well. My Google display campaigns I get 2 to 3% click-through rates because I understand that medium and I understand what the users and the targeting mechanisms work. My Reddit was terrible because I understood Reddit, but I didn't play by the rules. So even somebody as experienced as myself can make that mistake when you think that the content itself is strong enough. Content first, but distribution second. So how you distribute that, which is going to be the nativeness of it, is the most important. And here's where Venmo Play comes in. I'm just going to share this. This isn't me, but something that I learned. So there was a company called Water is Life, and they sent over a penny to a user. So they would find a user, send them a penny, and in the message they'd say, here's some money for you. If you could, it would mean the world if you could send us money, because we're raising awareness and donating to clean water acts across the globe. And this is just incredible, because if you think about it, your CPM is $10, right? $10 if you take the human capital of having to send that out. I don't know how they did their targeting. I don't know if they put any level of automation in there, but a CPM for $10, I think anybody running Facebook ads right now would be happy as hell for that. So I hope this helped. I hope this added some value to the question. If it did, it would mean the world to me if you could comment, like, subscribe, and as always, my friends, good luck and happy marketing.